everybody, John Courtois back here again with another video, and today I bring you my official Dragon Ball Super Episode 1 review. Now, of course, if you've not seen the premiere of Dragon Ball Super, this review may contain spoilers, so please go check it out. I'm pretty sure you can find it on the internet relatively easy, seeing as how it leaked online during Independence Weekend, and a lot of people have seen it already, so that being said, check it out because this review may contain spoilers. I'm going to try my best to keep it non-spoilerific because, you know, I know there's I know there has to be lots of Dragon Ball fans who are going to be like, oh no, I want to wait until it gets, you know, officially released by Funimation and I want an English dub, yeah, you know, but I'm pretty sure the way this show is going to progress, it's going to take a long time for Funimation to do a dub of it. Especially seeing as how they're dealing with Resurrection F right now, so I doubt, like, it's going to take some time. It's going to take some legitimate time. But that being said, let's get into this actual review. Now, of course, I saw it the day it came out, or rather, I should say the day it leaked out, which was the night of July 4th, and it came out pretty relatively easy. I mean, like, which doesn't surprise me because it's the first anime in the Dragon Ball franchise in years, so it makes a lot of sense how people would be, like, so excited they leak it online immediately the second it airs, so it makes a lot of sense. On that note, kudos to those who fucking put it online, fucking awesome. But that being said, I saw it without the English subs first, and that was kind of like my first glimpse into what Dragon Ball Super is all about, and I really liked it. I really enjoyed Dragon Ball Super for what it was. I know a lot of people who, the second they saw it, went online and got pissed off and like were like, this is not Dragon Ball Z, this is bullshit, what is this? This is fucking nonsense. A lot of people were pretty fucking angry and pissed off. Me, personally, I wanted to wait. You know, I wanted to watch it a couple times to really get, you know, the general gist of what this series is all about, so I don't, like, sound like a complete idiot or asshole, and, like, you know, and plus I'm realistic. I was going into this series with a 50-50 chance of it being either A, awesome, or B, it would suck ass. That was my mentality going into it, so I wasn't blinded by, like, oh, you know, there could be cool stuff. You know, I know what I was getting myself into. I saw the TV spots, I saw the manga, I'm not stupid, I know what the fuck it was going to be like, so I'm not like one of those people who are like, who went on YouTube and started ranting like, this is the fucking episode 1 of the new series of Dragon Ball? This is bullshit, what is this? It's like, I knew what was going to happen. I mean, like, we saw the synopsis, we saw the TV spots, we saw the freaking manga chapter. I'm surprised people were so surprised as to why the first episode in this series was so mundane, but that being said, it didn't really bother me. I actually liked it a lot. I personally went into it with a 50-50 chance once again, and I actually was right down the middle as to I liked it. I really enjoyed it. I really liked the new intro and outro of the show. It's really nice and entertaining and fun, which is saying a lot because, you know, my number one pick would obviously be a tie between A, Rock the Dragon, and B, Chala Head-Chala, so it is what it is. Them changing it doesn't bother me. It introduces a lot of really interesting elements as to what we can expect to see in the series. Like, number one, we're definitely going to be seeing some Super Saiyan God action, so hopefully we get some more developments on how Super Saiyan God really works, because we only saw a glimpse of that power in the movie, so it is what it is. Moving off of that, we also get to see a portal or dimension as to whether we can see Universe 6, which I'm pretty sure is, you know, where the main storyline is going to go, because if you read Toriyama's comments recently before the episode came out, he did state that one of the main sagas in this new series will be featuring Universe 6 and the adventures that Goku and the rest of the gang have to go through with the Dragon Balls of that universe and, you know, the characters of that universe and so on and so forth, so it's going to be pretty interesting, and obviously, you know, the outro is pretty fun and entertaining too. I like the music. The music for the overall show itself is also pretty good. I really enjoyed that as well, and the animation is freaking awesome. It's so crisp and pristine. Like, if you want to get the general gist of what the animation style is like, it's kind of like the special, the Dragon Ball special, Yo's Son Goku and Friends Return, except with a more pristine touch. You know, it kind of has like that Battle of Gods kind of feel. It feels like if you took the comedy of Dragon Ball and fused it with the style of animation with Battle of Gods, and you took the story of Yosun Goku in Friends Return and combined that into one complete actual story. That's what Dragon Ball Super is like. It's very comedic, it's very mundane, it's very average, but it's very pristine and interesting to look at, which is really awesome. And at the end of the day, the episode is pretty self-explanatory. If you've read the synopsis and saw the TV spots and read the manga chapter, then you get what this episode is all about. Essentially, it's a recap of what happened last time with the Kid Buu arc, and essentially, for those of you who are wondering, like, where does this place in the timeline, essentially Dragon Ball Super takes place several months after the fight with Kid Buu, and it takes place several years before Battle of Gods. So that's where it takes place. And it's a recap of Kid Buu. It shows you Goku and his new lifestyle. He's kind of like, he's a farmer now because Chi-Chi wants him to make more money and stop fooling around with King Kai training. Goku wants to train because that's the only thing that really matters in his head. And then you have other side stories like Goten and Trunks going on an adventure to find Videl and Gohan a gift for their wedding because, Gohan and Videl are going to be getting married pretty soon, so shit's going to go down there, That's pretty interesting. We get some interesting stuff with Hercule having some kind of, getting awarded the Nobel Peace Prize, and some comedic elements with Majin Buu and what have you. And then at the end of the day, after everything's said and done, Hercule gives Goku a case full of money for, basically as a big thank you for saving the world from Kid Buu, because obviously, if you know anything about Dragon Ball, Hercule is kind of known across the earth, if you will, as the world's greatest hero, or the universe's greatest hero, but it's obviously just a sham, because he's obviously just nobody who can't really fight or do anything, but essentially he's best friends with the Z-Warrior, so it's kind of like, it is what it is. He kind of plays he's like the mascot of the Z-Warrior. Like, the Z-Warriors do all the work, he does all the fucking camera work. That's kind of like the general gist of their relationship together. And, he gives them the money. He's like, okay, sure. Goten's like, hey, Dad, if you take the money, then you can train with King Kai. So he takes the money. Goku leaves immediately after giving Chi-Chi the money. And then the last image of the actual show is essentially not King Kai, but Old Kai and Supreme Kai are essentially discussing like the overshadowing of things that might end up happening, which is really interesting because they don't really straight up say who they're talking about. So they could be either doing one of two things, either discussing the fact that Beerus is out there, or discussing the fact that something even worse than Beerus is going out there. Maybe Champa, I don't know. At the end of the day, we didn't get a lot of Beerus and Whis out of this episode. The only glimpse we got was a pretty, conservative, average moment of Beerus and Whis, which is essentially them going to an alien planet, having dinner, getting angry, and then destroying the planet. That's essentially what Beerus is all about, so it's not really a big surprise as to what he was doing in this episode. But essentially, that's all of episode 1 in this series. It's pretty much the day in the life of the characters after a great battle with Kid Buu. So yeah, that's pretty much the episode. I know a lot of people were kind of angry with that because it's so, boring and not really action-packed, because Dragon Ball is known for its fast-paced action and epicness, specifically Dragon Ball Z, but it's the first episode, and after watching the movies, you got to understand that this is like the new way of doing things within the Dragon Ball franchise. It's pretty much a very Battle of Gods and Resurrection F inspired universe now. We're not gonna get the fucking hardcore, epic, violent kind of stuff we got with Dragon Ball Z. That's not going to happen. I mean, and if it does happen, I don't see it happening until maybe halfway into the first season. So, yeah, that pretty much being said, I liked the episode. It was pretty freaking decent. I enjoyed it a lot more than I was, expecting it to. I liked the music. The animation was awesome. The story could have been a lot better. The adventure was a little boring, and the episode was a little too short for my taste, and they definitely focused on characters that I don't think you should have at the first episode. I mean, I'm just saying, out of all the characters in the Dragon Ball franchise that you could focus on, you focus on, Hercule and Majin Buu's stupidity, and then you focus on this really mundane, average, not even adventurous adventure of Goten and Trunks finding a gift for Videl and Gohan. It's kind of like, but at the end of the day, I did enjoy it. I really liked it, so I'm going to give it a good, average, conservative, decent rating for this first episode, which is a 6.5. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I wasn't fully, overwhelmed with it, and I didn't hate it, so I'm pretty much right down the middle when it comes to the first episode of Dragon Ball Super. I really enjoyed the Goku and Goten moments. Those were pretty badass and entertaining. I loved how we had some good father-son, moments there, because when you think about it realistically, Goku doesn't really spend a lot of time with his sons. The only time he really does spend any time with them is, essentially during the Cell arc, when Goku and Gohan were on break during training, and when the world needs saving. That's pretty much the only time Goku ever spends time with his kids, so I guess it was kind of fun to see, at least in the first episode, to be like, okay, he's an actual dad at the end of the day, when he's not saving the universe from intergalactic alien beings and gods, so it is kind of cool to see that. And also, on the flip side, I know a lot of people were bothered by the adventure that Goten and Trunks had, and at the end of the day, I thought it was kind of reminiscent of Dragon Ball, where the first episode is where, Goku and Bulma kind of meet up, and they go on and they set off on their adventures finding the Dragon Balls, and they come across a gigantic dinosaur thing that Goku has to beat and go back into, saving whoever to go on the search for the Dragon Balls. It kind of felt like that in this episode, where, Trunks is the new Bulma, and Goten is the new Kid Goku, and they're going on their adventures. And hell, even during the episode, they even fight a giant monster, which is very reminiscent of what happened in episode 1 of the Dragon Ball series. So it feels very reminiscent of that comedic, family-friendly, kind of childish, kind of, moments of the Dragon Ball franchise. So I liked it on that note. Overall, I can't really pick apart things that I despise like other people. I know a lot of people are like, oh, Gohan's a nerd, and there was no Vegeta, and where's the fighting? This sucks. It's not Dragon Ball Z. It's like, I get that. I fully understand as to why people would not like the first episode of Dragon Ball Super, but at the end of the day, I saw the manga chapter, I saw the TV spots. I'm not blind or stupid, so I obviously understood what I was getting myself into with this new series, specifically episode 1. So, at the end of the day, I liked it, I enjoyed it, I love the Goku Goten moments, I love the animation and music, I like the new intro and outro, and I really find this new set of storylines to be a little bit more interesting in comparison to most, mundane episodes of Dragon Ball. If you had to compare this, it feels like a filler episode that should have been on Dragon Ball Z. It felt like if you put this, in between the fight of Kid Buu and the end of Dragon Ball Z in the original Dragon Ball Z series, it would fit perfectly. So, that's why, at the end of the day, I have no real big qualms with it. So, for me personally, I liked it. Let me know what you personally think in the comments below. I don't know if I'm going to review every single episode of Dragon Ball Super because, number one, pretty soon my schedule is going to be kind of hectic, especially when the fall starts, because there's tons of other things I'm going to be reviewing. So I don't know if I could review every single episode, especially seeing as how, if I'm not mistaken, Dragon Ball Super rather, has been signed on to, put out 100 episodes, so I don't know how that's going to work, not to mention the fact that, Funimation is eventually going to do their dub, and that's the dub that I rather watch, but I don't really see that happening until, probably until all of Season 1 of Dragon Ball Super is done, at least, for Funimation to do their dub, so I don't see that happening until, let's say the end of the year, or next year, or possibly by the end of next year, if you will. So I don't really know. It's going to be very interesting to see, but I'll definitely be reviewing episode 2, because after seeing the teaser, and spoilers if you've not seen the teaser for episode 2, but essentially it's going to be a very heavy Vegeta episode, where Vegeta is going to be taking Bulma and Trunks on a family vacation, so I'm going to expect a lot of comedic moments to come out of that, because Vegeta on vacation with his family, 2 things that he despises greatly, is going to be a hysterical episode. So I definitely can't wait to see that. And it seems like we're going to get a little bit more fighting and action in that episode. So because in this episode we didn't really get a lot of action and fighting. The only real action and fighting that we get is pretty much everything you've seen in the TV spots, which is essentially Goku transforming to a Super Saiyan and training for a split second, and then Goten and Trunks fighting that gigantic snake monster thing. So yeah, that's pretty much the only fighting you see in this freaking episode, so hopefully next time we get a little bit more stuff with Beerus doing some crazy shit with those alien creatures and Vegeta getting all pissed off being surrounded by people. So, yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting. I'm definitely going to be reviewing that. I don't know if I'm going to review all of them. Let me know what you personally think in the comment section below. Let me know what you personally thought about Dragon Ball Super overall. Did you like the first episode? Did you hate it? Did you despise it? Did you feel like it was like, meh? What did you think about the music, the new animation, the story? How do you think this compares to prior Dragon Ball series like GT and Z and the original Dragon Ball? What are your personal thoughts on how, Battle of Gods and Resurrection F are going to be, converted into this new series? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you personally think about Dragon Ball Super overall in the comments below. Subscribe to my channel if you've not done so already. Hope you guys enjoyed, and this has been John 12.